Welcome, everyone. My name is Michael Kraft. Thank you for joining us tonight. Please stay muted during the session and post any questions in the chat. Each speaker will address them during the Q&A. I'd like to share a quick update. The Bluefield Arts Festival was formerly known as the Rockland Arts Festival, for any of you wondering. Artists can now sign up to participate in the January 2026 festival through our new website, bluefieldartsfestival.com. The festival runs from January 23rd through the 30th, 2026, and typically draws between 75,000 and 100,000 visitors. Participating artists will remain featured on the festival website for about 11 months after the event. Once again, please feel free to post your questions in the chat throughout the session. Now I'm delighted to introduce our first speaker, Blue Beacon Digital Marketing Specialist, Lisa Faigin. Lisa?
Hi. Thanks, Michael. And I want to thank everybody for joining us today. So my area of expertise is marketing. Marketing is my day job, as well as things that I do on the side. But for the purpose of this conversation, I wanted to talk to all of you about how to market yourself as an artist and what the best channels to do that in. And I think that many artists struggle with this. So I just want to touch on a few key points and do a little bit of pros and cons, because everybody likes a good checklist. And then if there are questions at the end, I'm more than happy to field any of the questions, regarding how to market yourself as an artist. So the question that I get most often is, well, should I do a website or should I just post my art on Instagram? So it's a complicated answer because sometimes the answer is both. And it depends on what your goal is. So there's pros and cons to both. For a website, let's go through the pros. So the biggest pro is that you have complete control over how your art is displayed, what you're going to put on your website, how you're going to describe it, especially when Instagram puts limitations on sizes and scope of the size of your art. If you are a painter and you paint these beautiful things that are rectangles, then Instagram, you're going to run into a few problems, because you're going to have to crop your art in a way that might take away from its original intent. So with a website, you have complete control over the design and the style of the site and the design and style of your art itself. It gives you a professional presence. If you're looking to display your art for future galleries, then curators may want to see your entire portfolio, and they want to see it in the way that it was intended to be seen and how it's going to display on a gallery wall. So think of yourself as the curator of your own online gallery. Another benefit to having a website is it gives you better SEO and visibility. So SEO is search engine optimization. It is still a thing. You need to put descriptions of your paintings or your photographs or your sculpture, whatever your medium is. You need descriptions, and think of it as the way someone might be looking for it. So if a curator is looking for new artists to have a new gallery exhibit, they may be looking for a certain theme. And if they're searching for that theme, they're looking for those things in the descriptions of your art, or they're looking for your name. So if your name is Michael Kraft, they're looking for every artist named Michael Kraft. And maybe Michael may know of other artists out there named Michael Kraft, or maybe there's other people out there with different professions that are not the photographer Michael Kraft. So it's important to have those descriptions, and that gives you the visibility even with AI that's out there. It also gives you the benefit of building an email list if that is something that you are excited about doing. So if you want to create an email list and let people know, that there's going to be a new piece of art that you've posted, or a new exhibit that you're going to be a part of, building an email list is a great way to do that. And doing it through a website is something that is a common built-in feature for websites. However, the cons of having a website: there's time and there's money investment. So it takes time to build the website. It takes time to build all those descriptions, make sure you have good photographs of your pieces. There is a little bit of a learning curve, and I would not recommend doing it yourself. And I don't say that just because Blue Beacon Digital builds websites for people. Not my intention. But I would suggest that you work with someone that you trust and have them help you build it. There's a lot of great tools out there to help build websites. Gone really are the days where you have to know how to build a page from scratch. There's plenty of plug and play website features. But I would work with somebody that you trust on the back end of things. And think of your website as your online gallery. Make it simple. Make it crisp and clear. Think of it again. You walk into a gallery, what color is the walls on a gallery? More often than not, it's white, so that your art will pop. It'll pop off the screen. So, websites aside, maybe that's not the direction you want to go in. Maybe you're just like, you know what? I just want to build my audience and I want to do it on Instagram. Great. So the benefits to Instagram is you have instant access, don't have to build it. It's free and it's easy to use. And you can engage your community. But that's the biggest part of Instagram, is you cannot just set it and forget it. You have to show your body of work on a regular basis. You have to interact with the art community on a regular basis in order to build up that algorithm so people will see your art. But you can once you have it built, you can put your art up there quick. It's easy to update. You don't need any help. Just post it and walk away. The cons, of course, is that you have limited creative control. Maybe your art isn't meant for Instagram. What if you're a sculptor and you really are trying to get the full breadth of the 3D elements of your sculpture? Maybe Instagram isn't quite the tool for you, unless you really have fantastic video, fantastic photographs of your pieces. A flat photograph of a 3D piece of art isn't necessarily going to really showcase the beauty and the breadth of your artwork. The other thing is about content ownership. So while Instagram will tell you that it's your art and you own the artwork and you own the files, that is true. But that terms and conditions thing that nobody reads says that they can use your artwork in whatever way they see fit. So they may reproduce your artwork someplace else. So just keep that in mind. It does happen. Sometimes it'll happen without your knowledge, but it does happen. And it's not really great for somebody who wants to show their full portfolio. If you really have a large body of work, then Instagram may not be the right tool for you. So those are the pros and cons. Website, Instagram. I hope that was helpful. I hope it helps you choose. But often the answer is both. Is really the bottom line on website versus Instagram. Michael, were there any questions?
Yes, we have one question, and that is, how long should art descriptions be? One sentence or more?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the conventional wisdom about the title of the piece of art, like just the name of the piece, should be no more than 150 characters. Okay, so remember that, think about how people are going to search for it, and make sure that it includes all the real elements of that piece.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Lisa.
Great.
Very informative. And next up, we have Trustco Bank Financial Advisor, Peter Akdeniz.
Good evening, everyone. Can everyone see me?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thanks. Thank you for inviting me. Yes, so my name is Peter Akdeniz. I'm the branch manager, loan officer at Trustco Bank. My branch also offers financial advices as well. It's a free consultation. It's a gentleman named by the name of Michael Bates. He can review your current portfolio. So if you think about it, you go to the doctor, you care about your health, you go for a checkup. Well, I think people should have a financial checkup. If your financial advisor is not touching base with you within 3 months on a quarterly basis, then you need to hire a different financial advisor, because you should really have someone that's out there looking out for the best interests of your portfolio. That's number one. Number two, Trustco Bank does offer FDIC investment products like CDs, like certificate of deposits. We also have we have investment checking account with a higher earning interest as well. And also we provide lending services as well. Home equity loans. If you currently own your home, we do have a home equity line of credit where there's no closing costs. Most banks typically charge closing costs, an annual fee, and non-usage fee. Most of the time, my clients who apply for a home equity line of credit, they just have it like an emergency in case, God forbid, something happens to the roof. Or if you want to buy more art supplies, you can buy a Lamborghini with this. It's like a credit card against the house. I always tell people, think of it as a credit card against the house. You only make interest payments on what you use. If you don't use it, you don't make any payments. That's like the Trustco Bank really does have the best home equity line of credit product in town compared to other banks. We also, what I would strongly recommend is as a business account. We have like the lowest minimum balance requirement for a business account. Most banks like Chase and M&T Bank, they require in the thousands. Trustco Bank only requires $500 minimum balance to avoid the service fee. And the service fee is very low. It's only $5 a month. It's one of the lowest monthly service fees for a checking account for a business. And I would love to educate people on whether they should become a sole proprietor or they should have their business formed as a corporation or LLC. The importance of that is, when you're incorporated, you're protected legally. So God forbid someone tries to sue you, they can't go after your personal assets because your business is under a separate entity. And that's very important. And if someone's interested in setting that up, I do know a few lawyers that their fees are very reasonable, and they could set that all up with the EIN number. That's the employee identification number that you would get when you set up business. And then the filing receipt, the business certificate, the order of incorporation, all the documents that's required to form a business under a LLC or corporation is quite important if you think about it. But if you're a sole proprietor, you can have your business account using your own social security number. You just have to get a business certificate. You can easily file that with the county. It's very simple. And I'd be more than happy to help people with that. You guys can reach out to me via text on my cell phone. I can share my phone number right now with the group. It's 914-319-2057. Also, what I would recommend is maybe educating yourself whether I should do a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA. The difference all depends on what your tax bracket is. So I would love to have a conversation with you about that. Some people prefer to do a Roth where you just, you pay the tax up front, and now throughout the years, you don't pay any taxes. So that's one benefit of doing a Roth. A traditional IRA is where your tax is deferred. So when you're filing your income taxes, it's like, let's say, for example, $5,000 can be negated from your income. Well, that's great when you're filing your taxes, but when you retire and you start taking money out of your retirement, you start paying tax on that. So it all depends on your tax bracket. And that's something that your accountant can actually advise. But Trustco Bank does do IRA CDs. Most banks have gotten away from that. They want you to do mutual funds or fixed annuities, and that's okay. But some people prefer to have that safety where they know that their money is protected by the government. And Trustco Bank does offer IRA certificate of deposits, and we also offer a higher rate. So we always added 5 basis points to the rate when you're doing a IRA certificate of deposit, because most banks are actually not doing that anymore. And if they do, they actually offer a lower rate compared to Trustco Bank with the certificate of deposits. But I would strongly recommend every artist to at least have a separate account where you have all your earnings going into a separate account. That way it's not commingling with your personal finances. It's just better record keeping. And I think, Trustco Bank would be a great option for you. And we do use Zelle. We have the mobile banking app. It's very easy. So if you're far away, you're not near a Trustco Bank, I can open up the account online via internet. Very simple. And once you get yourself set up, you can easily make deposits with your cell phone. So you really don't have to go to a branch. No one really does that anymore unless they have to take cash out or deposit cash. And one benefit about Trustco Bank, we have an agreement with Allpoint ATM. So think of Ireland green with white letters, Allpoint. So with our ATM system, we have 55,000 ATMs worldwide. So you could be in California, Florida, and you want to take money out of the ATM, you could just find an ATM that says Allpoint, and if you take money out of that machine, there are no fees. So you save $6 because most banks will charge $3 one way, and the other side would be another fee of $3. It's $6 that you're basically wasting. So by having a bank that offers free ATM withdrawals is really ideal. And our app is very easy to use. So if you're traveling, you can just put the zip code of where you're at, and it will locate all the ATMs that have an Allpoint ATM service. I mean the Allpoint ATMs. They're typically in CVS, Walgreens. You'll see them in 7-Eleven. A lot of the gas stations, they have the Allpoint ATM. Are there any? I also do mortgages. I don't know if anybody's interested in buying a house. I do free pre-approvals, and I do a lot of the lending side and a lot of the banking services. Does anybody have any questions?
There are some questions. Let's see. So, I know there was. Hold on a second. Sorry. Peter, should artists become LLC, or is there an income threshold that needs to be me?
To be met? Actually, no. I mean, anybody can form an LLC. I know a lot of business customers that open up LLCs, and they have very minimum revenue stream. Anybody can form an LLC. It's a great protection for you personally. You don't want if your business starts to boom and you're receiving lots of sales, you want to make sure that's protected against your personal assets. So it's highly recommended. Most people who are self-employed are registered as an LLC. And as I stated earlier, I do know an attorney in Rockland County that's very reasonable in setting that up, and he can actually advise more on that as well. I'd be more than happy to get more information about that for you if you'd like. But there's really no minimum. You can have $5 a month of income. I mean, as long as you set up an LLC. Sometimes you can have a slow year, and then 2 or 3 or 4 years, you're making 6 figures. So it's a start. You don't have to. You're just forming a business, and then you earn as it grows, of course.
We have another question. How long does setup take?
Setup take to form the corporation or LLC?
They're not saying. It just says how long does setup take? LLC.
For LLC, I would have to get back to you on that. I know you would have to apply for a EIN number, which stands for an employee identification number. That has to be, you have to first register for that. And that's in New York State, there's a website where you can actually go on I can provide you, if you text me, I can provide you the website where you can go, and you can actually personally even set this up too. Because you have to definitely apply for an employer identification number, and then of course you have to have your business certified as well. And there's a fee. I'm not sure what the fees are, but I would say maybe like 3 or 4 weeks it would probably be all set up, because I've had clients in the past who've set up as an LLC, and they've done it with an attorney who set it all up for them. They took it. They was all set from A to Z.
Okay. We might have one. Okay.
I just may add, if you want to be a sole proprietor, you just need to apply for a business certificate with the county, and then you just still use your own social. You don't have to use a separate tax ID number, because you still now. That's okay if you're not really. If, in my opinion, if you're not owning a building and you don't have people. It depends. If you start opening up your own art gallery and you have people walking in there, in my opinion, and again, of course, you'd want to speak to a lawyer about this, you should be registered as an LLC to protect yourself. But if you're just selling art at a gallery, at street fairs or at festivals, and people are writing checks to you directly to your name, then maybe a sole proprietorship would be appropriate. But I mean, I personally would register as an LLC. Just that way, it's set up and it's there permanently forever. It's your name, your business, and it's always there.
Okay. I'm actually going to go back to Lisa Faigin. Lisa Faigin, you have, there's 2 questions here. There's actually 3 questions. You there?
I'm here.
Okay, ready. Great. Okay, this person is concerned that their artwork will be stolen from their website. Your opinion?
So, yes, that does happen. So on your website, there's a couple of things you can do to limit that from happening. You can never completely take that risk away, just given how people can right click or do a screenshot. So what I would recommend is when you post your artwork on your website to use low res files. Don't put the file that you might send to a curator. You put low res files. So then even if they do try and steal it, they're stealing a file that it's literally this big. They can't ever blow it up and print it, or especially for photographers, they're never going to be able to create a print of your painting if the file is only a screenshot that they can't blow up any bigger than this. So that does discourage that from happening.
Okay, and what is the best software to use when creating a website?
So there's a bunch of them out there, and it really does depend on what you want your website to do. So if you're looking for something that is going to allow you to sell your art online, then you need something that has an e-commerce package to it that will allow that to take credit cards, to process payments. And for those kinds of things, I usually recommend something like WordPress. But if you're just looking for a gallery of your work, then I would stay simple and I would use something like Wix. So it all depends on what you want your website to do.
Okay, this one particular question came in right after you finished, so I'm not really sure. It said, do copyright laws come into play
with your artwork? So you should, in the footer of your website, you should have copyright language at the bottom of everybody's website. And then you also have to remember every year to update it. But it does your work is your work. If you had to prove that it was yours, every artist can prove that their artwork is their artwork. But you should have some kind of language on the website that indicates the copyright for that particular year.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Rockefeller Gallery Curator Lisa D'Amico.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Michael. So, Michael, I think that this section of the webinar should be me and you.
Okay.
For anybody who doesn't know, Michael and I started off curating together when we were, in our late 20s? So
Yeah.
that was just what,
like 30.
Last week?
10 years ago?
And so let's just, I'm going to start off kind of where Lisa ended, where I want to say to artists very often that whether you realize it or not, your website is really your portfolio. Probably prior to COVID, I would have said, oh, you need to keep your website and a physical portfolio updated. But the landscape has really changed. And I can tell you as a curator, when somebody contacts me about showing their work in the gallery, the first thing I do is I go to their website, even before their social media, because like Lisa said, I want to go and see their work the way they want it presented. So it is very important. And with that said, so is an artist statement. And it doesn't have to be anything formal. It just has to be genuine to you. So when I read about you, I'm getting a sense of you as an artist, your inspiration, your technique, your motivations, your whole journey. I think those are really important starting points. What about you, Michael?
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think that that social media does help. Instagram, even though it's true, sometimes the format is not always great for the artwork. It definitely brings attention. And there are some artists that really get into a groove, and they have videos of the process of their art, whatever they're working on. I know this one artist who is fantastic at marketing himself and has a huge following on Instagram, and also sells a lot because he has himself, he a lot of times uses himself. So he's like posing, he's showing the photo that he uses for the painting that he's working on, and it's really incredible. So
I agree with you. I always tell artists to kind of reveal the evolution of your work. Take us on that journey from beginning to end. Because if you're excited about it, the viewer's going to be excited about it, and that includes curators who are looking at your work. I also think that presentation is very important. I think that people need to make sure that you can photograph your own work. You don't have to have it professionally done. You can go to YouTube and get plenty of tips on how to do it. But you should definitely have work photographed well. So if a curator looks at it, they get a real sense of that piece. Even if it's on their computer screen, they're getting an accuracy in color and texture and so on. Because I can't tell you how many times, and Michael, you know this as well as I, because we've gone through applications together, that people will send us photographs of their work, and there's shadows across it. There's a dog's tail in the picture. There's a very high shine across it, and you can't expect the viewer to care more about your work than you do. So your presentation is really important, because that's the starting point, isn't it?
Absolutely. And as a photographer, I must say, you can always bring your work to a photographer to have it professionally photographed if you can't get that done. And I've done that quite a few times down here in Fort Lauderdale, because it's very true. A lot of artists do not take good photos of their artwork, and it really is important. Another thing that I'm going to throw in there is, of course, not just because I do it, headshots. Headshots are also very important too, and sometimes, they're just a mess. You really need a good headshot too, because it really, that goes with everything else. We're artists. It should look good.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, I would like to tell all artists that tag the gallery. Like if you want me to see your work, email me directly, fill out the application on the gallery's website, or tag me or any other gallery curator on Instagram, tag them. Because you never know what that could lead to. And that will help broaden your audience. And I also tell artists, if you're going to be on social media, and Lisa said it as well, Lisa Faigin, it's got to be consistent. So I'm not saying you have to post every day, because I know it's very hard to make content when you're an artist. You don't want your art to be focused on content. You want to create art that's genuine to you at the pace at which you work. But post at least once a week, so there's a consistency and that you're building your audience.
And also keep in mind too, I don't know how Lisa Faigin feels about this, but I sometimes notice that your stories on Instagram can sometimes get a lot more views. I don't know how that works, but so keep in mind your stories when you post. Also share that new post to your stories,
Yeah.
and also in your stories you can also add some video of the process. You can do little tricks like speed up the video so that it all kind of fits in, and it makes it interesting.
Michael, there's a question in the chat. I'm going to answer it as a curator, and I want you to answer it as a photographer. Okay, so this person is asking about, they're creating a book of their photography. Should they call it a book or a catalog? And they want to use it as a PR tool for themselves. So people do send me booklets and printed material of their work. I would not make a 50-page book to use as a PR tool, because that's overkill. People's attention spans are very short, so I would reduce that down to probably 20 pages or less of your very best work, and keep whatever descriptions you put in there to just like not even a paragraph, maybe 3 or 4 sentences of the meaning behind the piece that the person's looking at. Calling it a book or a catalog it has a different connotation than a book. I don't know if it really matters in the long run, because you're using it as a vehicle to have your work seen. But I think that you might get better traction by taking, I'm sorry to say this, but taking an online route, emailing, and also tagging and posting more on social media. And also now they're asking how many images per page. Well, it depends on the size of the page. How big is this book? Because the more pictures you put on one page, the smaller they're going to be and the less impactful they're going to be. So I would honestly say one image per page with a very small description underneath. And I get this a lot from artists where they'll send me their work, but nowhere does it tell me the size of the piece, the materials used, or the title. They're just sending me an image. So please always include that brief description. You don't have to put a price in, but give the curator the basics. Michael?
Well, yeah, it depends. I'm not really sure, but if people have like catalogs. I mean, as a photographer, you might want to really look into, do you want to do a coffee table book of your work, which I've done. So I kind of feel like if you're going to spend that money in printing and everything, that would be
a big investment.
It is. It's a big investment. I did it. And the one thing I will say is that, the more you have printed, the less it becomes. So, but if you want to go that route, make sure it's a coffee table book that is not, you don't want it to somehow be dated in the sense that you're going to have those copies for a while, and you want to, I've had mine for quite a while, and there's nothing really in there that really dates it. I have it, I'm still selling it. And so that may be something that you'd be interested in doing instead of the catalog, is doing the coffee table book, and you have it wherever you go. If you do street fairs, sometimes when I do shows, and the gallery knows that I have the book, they'll say, "Bring in your book." So you always have it to sell. It's always there. So I think that's a route that you might consider as well.
Yeah, I agree. So there's another question. So this person is currently doing digital art and illustrations. She's asking if galleries would be opening to exhibit that kind of work. Absolutely. So let me preface with this. I think, and I'm an artist as well, so I know what it's like to submit my work. I know what it's like to have it accepted and rejected. I mean, I know both sides of this coin. When it comes to galleries have different goals and different aesthetics. So you need to find galleries that feature your work. So some galleries feature more works on paper, more illustrations and drawings, while others might do more traditional paintings and so on. So it takes a little bit of detective work because you want to find the right match for your work. On the other hand, then there's group shows, and we all know about group shows. They usually charge between $25 to sometimes $50 to submit. I'm not against it. I've submitted my work to those as well. The only thing that I would not caution, but just suggest is don't apply to all of them. Apply to the ones that you feel will feature your work best. I wouldn't recommend being in one that's got like 100 artists, because you will get lost in the shuffle. You want to make sure that gallery, art institution, art organization, whoever's hosting the exhibit will be doing promotional work online, generally not on paper anymore, but definitely promoting what you're in. Some galleries leave it up to the artist. So you should know about that before making any kind of step where you're putting in your money and you're putting in your work, which is really part of your soul and who you are. It's an extension of yourself. So I'm all for submitting to galleries and to group shows, but just read about it first and do a little bit of homework before you write the check or send the Venmo. And my last thing, Michael, before you say, I can see you're ready to talk. My last thing is, as a curator, please read from top to bottom whatever the details are for the exhibit, because that curator probably wrote that submission outline. And if you don't read the whole thing, you may submit the money and get disqualified for not properly submitting whatever is required for that exhibit. So it's really important that you are both on the same page, who you're submitting to and for yourself as well. Because I want everyone to, submit to me and give me everything that I need. Like if you go to my website, which is rockefellergallery.com, in the upper right corner, it says artist application. It's a very short application, but I cannot tell you how many times people will submit it incomplete. And like I said in the beginning, you cannot expect a curator to care more about your work than you do. Michael?
Yes. Well, what I was going to say too, I don't know up there, but down here in Fort Lauderdale, there is a place which actually I work at. It's called the Broward Art Guild. They do group shows monthly, which lasts for about 3 weeks out of the month. And then the last week of the month, artists can rent out that gallery for a week and have their own show.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how many places are up there that are like that, but that's also something to look into, because if you want to have like a solo show, or even grab a friend and say, hey, let's do like a little group show, that's something that, then you have control over what you're showing, and you don't have to worry about, is it going to be accepted or isn't it? But it's a good balance.
I mean, it's about building relationships. So, as an artist, I just want to stay in my studio where I am right now, and never come out and have my artwork speak for me. But unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way. So it
No.
is about going to art events that aren't your own, talking to curators, talking to other artists, doing collaborative. That's how me and Michael started. We did collaborative exhibits that we coordinated ourselves, and getting on people's radar. Because if you never come out of your studio, it's really hard for people to know you and to build that relationship and to get an idea of your aesthetic, the theories behind your work, what drives you as an artist. And I have to tell you, I'm never more flattered than when someone comes to one of our receptions and introduces themselves to me, who I've never met before. They get on my radar. I can't spend my time like looking through a portfolio, but getting to meet them and just even talking for 5 minutes, it does make a difference. It really does. Somebody's asked us, and this should be, I guess, our last question because Jennifer's up next.
Okay.
So they want to know, in a digital era, people are emailing more and sending fewer print. So I thought print would gain more attention. Michael, what do you think about that?
That print will gain more
Like
attention.
if they mailed it instead of emailing.
Oh,
Sending it to a gallery or curator.
I mean, you know what? Since probably in some cases, a lot of galleries may not be getting a lot of print, it may be something to think about because it may stand out. While a lot of people are emailing and stuff here, oh wow, they're getting some kind of, package. I mean, I always say try whatever you can.
Yeah.
If and just make it look good and fun and and eye-catching.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, what I would do is maybe do a small run of print, booklets or small catalogs, send it out and see what kind of response you get, and then gauge it from there. But to make a big investment up front, I wouldn't do. And also show make one print, right, of that book or catalog, show it to people whose opinion you trust. So, because there may be things that need to be tweaked. Because sometimes, when you look at something for a long time, you stop almost seeing it. You know what I'm saying? Or the small details. But I like the idea. I just feel like artists also need to build their online presence. Because when I Google a name, I want to be able to find that artist.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah. And really, as a curator, my last bit is to be professional. Whether you're accepted or rejected, don't give up. And if you really want into that gallery, apply again. But take criticism as well as you can. I mean, it's hard to be rejected and to accept feedback, but think of it as a building block for yourself. And that's really it. And if anybody wants to email me, you can do it through the website. And the email address for me is just easy. It's rockefellergallery@gmail.com. And Michael, I think we're done, kid.
I think so. Okay. So next up, we have ArtsWestchester Grants Associate Director, Jennifer Plick.
Okay, thank you, everybody. This was actually a perfect segue into the information that I have for everybody. Again, my name is Jennifer Plick, and I'm the Associate Director of Grant Programs at ArtsWestchester. One of the key programs that ArtsWestchester runs is a granting program, the Arts Alive grant program, which is in part funded as a re-grant of NYSCA, New York State Council on the Arts, and ArtsWestchester runs that particular grant program for both Westchester County and Rockland County. This is the one program that we have that does cross the river, and we cover everybody. And one of the great things about this grant opportunity is that we do actually have funding for individual artists. And that is, there's kind of two different categories that we would sort of have in, but I will really kind of talk about the individual artist in you creating new work. That is one of the main categories, essentially a commissioning grant. So as we've all been talking about creating digital artwork, creating paintings, if you're a musician and you are composing new work, the Arts Alive creation of new work grant for an individual artist would be the category that you would look at. Essentially, it would help you to complete or sort of get that whole process started. They're usually, it's modest grant in general, usually about $3,000 is like the maximum that would be available for an artist. But again, it would help you to really get art supplies, any type of printing, marketing, anything of that nature that you would have to do to complete this work of art. So again, if you're a painter and your genre is painting landscapes, and you have this idea of wanting to paint a series of landscapes that highlight the landscape of Rockland County, this would be the type of grant that you would look at to say, it could help me get all my supplies, put everything together, and really sort of bring this idea to fruition. As of right now, we do not have information for our next grant cycle. That would probably be coming up in very early 2026. So I can't give you specifics at the moment. I'm actually going to pop into the chat where you would find a lot of our information. It's on our website, artswestchester.org/grants. And you would look for the Arts Alive grant category. We usually would have all of our guidelines up there for all the different categories, and for artists, the particulars that you would need to have in order to apply. And again, the idea behind your artwork and your grant. And as everyone was saying, it is really important as an applicant, and then as an organization that grants these particular grants, they are reviewed by a panel. It's not myself and Susan Abbott, who's the director of grant programs. We kind of joke that it's not us sitting in our office with a dartboard, throwing things, and see where it hits. It actually does go to a panel, an independent panel of artists, community members. So for Rockland County, it is a Rockland County panel. We do not mix Westchester and Rockland. They don't mix in their panels or their application reviews. So in Rockland County, you're applying in Rockland County, your application will be reviewed by a Rockland County panel. And it is so important to be able to have those details. I think Lisa was mentioning earlier about having an artist statement. That is an absolute key for a grant application. Who are you as an artist? What sort of inspires you as an artist? Again, whether it's painting, dance, music, poetry, spoken word, anything like that. What is it that drives you, and what is this artwork that you want to create? Because remember, a panel, they can't talk to you. So your application has to do the speaking for you. And our applications, we try to make them as simple as possible, but there are details that you will have to have in an application. So again, thinking about your project, the timeline of a project. We do have usually a 12-month period for funding. So a project would have to come to fruition within a certain defined period of time. But again, from start to finish, what do you think? And we know that when you apply, it's an estimate at that time, and things can change, and that is perfectly fine. We try to be as flexible as we possibly can, but you will need to give a panel an idea of when these things will be happening. How many paintings will you be creating? How big will they be? What type of materials are you going to be using? Acrylic painting, watercolors, all of that. And then there is a section for uploads for samples. So again, it's very important to have those samples. Again, your past artwork, art shows, if you are a musician, or if you are a theater person, or if you are a dancer, I cannot stress enough, videos, panels need to then hear everything and need to see everything in action. So having those video links is key for a panelist to be able to like look at that and understand who you are as an artist and what your artwork is and how it's presented to the general public. So we do have sections where you can have links to your social media, to YouTube, video links. I would also suggest that, if a video is long, maybe it's 10 minutes, highly unlikely a panelist is going to watch 10 minutes of everybody's videos, because remember, they do read a number of applications. It's somewhere in a document. You want to tell the panelist, you want to go to, minute 2, watch between minute 2 and minute 3. So we're giving you the entire video. If they're really thrilled with it, they could watch the entire thing. But if you've got a certain section of a video, tell them where to go on that video, or queue that up, or have only that certain section of that video as an upload link. So those are sort of little tips and little tricks and little hints to help you if you decide to look at the application, and then have a plan for how the public could actually see everything. We want you as an artist to be able to show these things to the general public. While it's not an exhibition grant per se, it's a commissioning. So again, you're creating, there is a public engagement part of it. That's kind of the secondary part of the application. So again, primary, if you are creating new work, that's the sole focus, but we want the public to be involved in some way. It might be open studio tour while you're creating that work. That could satisfy that. So you want to have a plan for how that all works. Maybe there is an exhibition that you are applying to. You want to put in those kinds of details. You are planning to apply to these places for exhibitions, or you're talking to Lisa D'Amico or other people for exhibitions to show your work. So again, you want to give a panelist the idea that you have a plan for this going forward. It's not simply sort of living in your head. You want to get it out there and get the public and get everybody else involved and excited about it, and to see and hear and learn from your particular work. As I mentioned, 2026, we don't have details just yet. We actually have to apply to NYSCA, New York State Council on the Arts, for this re-grant funding ourselves at ArtsWestchester. So we are waiting to hear back. Should be happening, we think, soon. So our best estimate right now is 2026 Arts Alive applications probably will be January. And then we do have 6-7 weeks, usually the applications are open. You can take a look at it. We will have info sessions, just like we are doing here. We'll have them on Zoom. We will do in-person ones. We'll have them in Westchester. We'll have them in Rockland. So again, you don't feel like you always have to stay in Rockland, and Westchester people don't always have to stay in Westchester. You can, mix and match for those info sessions, whatever best, fits your schedule. And you can also contact us. We are available via email, via phone. We could always do like a quick Zoom call if you do have more particular questions, or if you have an idea for something, but maybe you're just not sure if this really fits into everything. You can reach out. Just give us a little talk through. Again, we can't say definitively, what will or won't be funded. Every year is completely different. Every year is a new panel. So again, if you have been funded before in this, or if you haven't been, if you've applied and you haven't gotten funded, as Lisa said, keep going. Every year is completely different, and you never know what's going to happen. It's again kind of like the lottery. You have to be in it to win it. So you've got to, keep your eye on everything and make sure that you're sort of learning from everything, looking at the questions, reading the guidelines. As Lisa said, when you're doing applications for exhibitions, the same thing applies for grant applications. It can be a little voluminous, but we try to separate it out between the different categories. So look at everything that is required, proof of residency if you're in Rockland County, or again, if there's anybody on here from Westchester, you would have to be Westchester or Rockland, wherever you're going to have if you're having an exhibition. it would have to stay in your home county. So Rockland is in Rockland, Westchester is in Westchester. So again, not crossing. And just making sure that you understand the questions and run things by other people too. If you have, a friend or somebody, again, that you trust, that it could be a good sounding board. We know it's pretty hard to sort of, how do I pare down what I do into a short paragraph or so, because there are character limits for the applications. So really getting to the heart of who you are as an artist and what you want to create and what you want to fund is really the key point here. So again, getting that all down to something that a panelist could say, okay, yeah, I can see this. I know where they're going with everything. And then you have all the supplementals as well is really, really key for having, a grant application that is received well. And not all the time, they don't always get funded, even if they are 100%, written very well. It all comes down to funding as well. So again, don't get discouraged. Keep going and just keep at it and keep learning from year to year of what is out there and what needs to be done. And not just with ArtsWestchester, but any grants that you're looking at or applications for exhibitions. It's just reading the guidelines, reading what's required, and trying the best and keep going. And staying motivated to have people be able to see your artwork and who you are as an artist and as a person here. So if there's any questions, I could take some questions.
Yes, I know we have a question here. Okay, if a grant application is submitted early, will the grants department review it and give advice?
Excellent question. Yes, for our Arts Alive grant, we actually do build in an early deadline, which is usually a week before the final deadline. So if you get your grant application in by that early deadline, we commit to reading that application and giving you some feedback and an opportunity to make some minor edits. It's not a full redo of your application, but again, maybe we say that the narrative could use a little bit more detail. You might want to be a little bit more specific about, what these paintings, again, I keep using that, paintings, it would be, what specifically you might be looking at. Are there certain areas in Rockland County? Again, really sort of honing in on as much information as we can give a panelist. And also, one of the areas that frequently a lot of people have trouble with are budgets. I understand. I don't like budgets myself as a person that does, reviews grants. It can be a little daunting trying to figure out numbers and money, but there is a budget template. You will have to do basic budget about artist supplies, how many estimating, and we know it's an estimate. So we might give you some feedback of like the budget might need a little bit of work. It seems to be a little off. Your numbers aren't quite adding up. I'll give you an opportunity to go back and sort of redo and tweak some of those. Again, we usually do that for a defined period of time. It's usually 5 or 6 days that you'll get to sort of, edit and tweak and then hit the final submit. And then for the final deadline, it then goes off to the panel. And I will say to everybody as well, there will then be, if you do an application and you submit, there will be a long period of time that you will not hear from ArtsWestchester. So again, that panel process does take a while. So they have to read everything. Then we actually have meetings with everybody to actually go over all the applications. So it does take, a bit of a time before you actually hear about the outcome. You can always just check in with us. If it's been 2 or 3 months, you haven't heard from us, it's always, give a phone call, send us an email, let us know. We can tell you it's still being in process and worked on, and an estimated time of when you would hear from us. And I will also pop into the chat our general email, if I can spell. grants at artswestchester.org, if I've spelled that all properly. That is a general email that goes to both myself and Susan Abbott. So that would be the general email, the best email to reach us if you do have any questions. If you, again, we'll be sending out details once we know information about 26 Arts Alive, and anything about info sessions would come. You could ask us through that email.
There is another one more question. Do you have to have a community component for a grant?
Yes, so there is, I will say again, there might be a few changes, again, based on the information that we get from NYSCA. So in general, artists have had two opportunities. There's, again, the creation of new work, again, that commissioning grant, which again, the primary focus is you as an artist creating something, but there does have to be that public engagement component, which can be, as we mentioned, a few different things. Open studio, exhibition, again, that's the secondary part. There is another option for artists, which is our community project, or we sort of kind of rephrased it, community impact, which is more not creating work, but really doing more like public workshops. So again, you are a printmaker and you are going to be working with the Nyack Library, and you're going to be doing these public workshops. That would be something that could be funded, as a possible program, essentially. Not creating a new work, but a program. I will say we might be changing some things based on what we get from NYSCA. So we will have to review the guidelines. We were able to relax things a little bit over the last few years. We were actually receiving funding not from NYSCA, but directly from the New York State Senate and Majority Leader Andrea Stewart-Cousins. So this year we are actually back in NYSCA, so we have to abide by the rules that we get from NYSCA. So there may be a few things that will be changing or a little stricter in how the community impact section actually works. Probably going back to the old way, if anybody's done this before or looked at it, either having a fiscal sponsor or a community partner. And so those are two different things that you might need to have if you're an artist and you're looking at community impact, programming, essentially not creating new work. So two different areas. It gets a little confusing. This is why when we have the grants open, we try to do the info sessions and try to have everything, as straightforward and separated as possible. But again, as we get towards that, we'll be putting out more information. So you can always just hop on the info session, reach out to us, anything like that.
Before we go, Michael, I just want to make a comment. I just want to say that I was an artist for a very long time that avoided grants because I felt like I can't fill out the application, I can't do a budget, it's too difficult. And then I went to one of ArtsWestchester's info meetings, and it was like somebody turned the light on, and I realized I could do it, and I knew I wasn't alone. I knew if I emailed them or called them, Sue or Jennifer would get back to me, and they did. And ever since then, I've done a grant every year. And once I got past the fear, it really made a difference. So I recommend that everybody attend one of their info sessions. It really is incredibly helpful.
And again, even if you decide, you're not, maybe this isn't the year for you, just, you can always read the guidelines, check out the info session, just get some more information and maybe start thinking about things. If you're maybe a little tentative, that's completely fine. Maybe next year or something, you start thinking about it and you can see what is required in the application and the information and sort of starting to put those details, together, your artist statement, narrative. You want to have, how this is going to be impacting the community, what you want to bring to everybody, things like that you will have to have. And again, having somebody else as a sounding board to help you sort of formulate a lot of that information and those details is also, I find, very, very helpful as well.
Well, thank you everyone for joining us tonight. I want to thank our speakers, Lisa, Peter, Lisa, and Jennifer, and everybody for joining us tonight. And also, don't forget, artists, join up for the Bluefield Arts Festival on bluefieldartsfestival.com for January 2026. Good night, everybody.